What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is your review for Power Book, Book 4, Season 2, Episode 2. Child, it's a lot. So we pick up with the aftermath of Chewy's death. We have the police out there investigating. We see that the old man that plays the saxophone, he basically let the police know that, Chewy had flipped. He had left, CBI, and he was kind of going to the other side, and so maybe this was retribution. And I mean, he got it partially right? So then we see Tommy letting Diamond know that he handled it. And Diamond was like, what is wrong with you? Like, I told you don't take care of it. I told you leave Chewy alone. And Tommy was like, listen, I had to send a message. Like, I couldn't let him just leave us and then be out here disrespecting us. Like, it's a street code. Like, I couldn't let that slide. And, of course, Diamond is like, you starting fires that we don't need to be worried about. Like, we trying to put fires out, not start more fires. And Tommy was like, listen, we making money and things are going well, so I'm really not understanding what the problem is. Okay. Now, while this is going on, Jannard done told the people, he done told his crew that Chewy dead, and basically it's open season on Tommy. And of course, they ready to make it happen. Now, while that is going on, Vic is down at the cemetery. He's still mourning and shit. Okay. And Tommy comes to talk to him. I don't know why Tommy was at the cemetery. Because they better not say that's where Liliana is buried. Because who the hell buried her? When did we bury Liliana? Who had the funeral? What we doing? Okay? But neither here nor there. They was down to the cemetery. And Tommy was talking to Vic and basically was like, listen, you still working for your father after everything that he did to you? And Vic was like, nah. I ain't working for my father because that's what I want to do. I'm working for my father to give retribution. Like, I'm not stupid. Like, I know what's up. And so Tommy was like, well, look, let me know who killed Ileana, and maybe we can work together. And Vic was like, and Tommy was like, I don't really know. Vic was told Tommy he ain't know. So then Vic asked Tommy who put the recipe for, for the, what is it, Ophelia, the Oedipus, whatever this shit was called. And Tommy was like, I don't know. So, of course, they playing that cat and mouse situation. Now, while that is going on, Claudia is down there sleeping with the guy that's putting the screws on her daddy, trying to get the inside scoop and find out what's really good and what's really going on. And, he was like, look, you ain't have to sleep with me just to get some information. Like, you ain't got to do all of that. But he basically let her know, look, your dad, he got some steep payments that's gonna be due, pretty soon. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Now, while this is going on, Daddy Flynn is trying to make some moves so he can be able to pay that. And he's making a deal with some devil that we just meeting, where he was like, I got a bad batch of pills and we need to get rid of them. And of course, they can't be connected to us because, we're a legit business, but can you move them? And so he wants to move them down, in the hood. He wants to sell the bad batch of pills down in the hood. And that's when he goes to Vic. And he basically is trying to bring Vic back into the family fold. And Vic agrees to do it. But, of course, he done already told Tommy that it's not real. Like, I'm just getting in so I can get my retribution on my daddy. And Vic tells Daddy, why don't you go talk to Claudia? And, of course, we know that Daddy Flynn really ain't trying to rock with Claudia like that. But, we'll get to that later on in the episode, child. Alright, so Diamond goes to visit his brother because, again, he's trying to stop a war before it gets started. And Jannard lets him know, look, I'm not scared of Tommy. Like, if you hear, you hear once again trying to take up for that white boy. And that's why we ain't rocking together now. That's why we ain't cool now, because you still trying to defend this man. And he was like, I ain't really trying to defend him. Like, I'm just trying to let you know that if you start this war, I can't help you. Like, if you come for Tommy, it's going to be guns a-blazing. And I can't do nothing for you. And Jannard was like, I ain't scared of Tommy. And basically, he was like, but you should be. And you really already got your hands full. I don't know if you really, really need this war. So then Jannard lets his boys know, look, the hit on Tommy is off. And of course, now they looking at him like he weak. They like, wait a minute, your brother came down here and punked you. Like, what about Chewy? Why we can't get retribution on Chewy? And Jannard was like, listen, my brother didn't come down here and punk me. We just got bigger fish to fry, okay? We got a lot of other things that's going on that's more important than this mess right here, okay? That's why. Now, while that is going on, we down to the barbershop, and Tommy and Diamond were supposed to have a meet with old boy, the leader of the Latino, the Connect. But his parole officer rolls up in there to do a surprise visit and wants him to do a drug test. So, of course, they got to play it cool, play it like it's legit business. And Tommy goes to the meet by himself. Tommy ends up having to go by himself. So he gets to the meet, and, he's doing his Tommy thing, child. He's being Tommy. And next thing you know, the Serbs run up and start shooting on all of them. So Tommy ends up getting shot. But while he's laying there faking like he really is passed out, they're actually having a whole conversation in front of Tommy, and they talk about their shipment and where the shipment is and what time the shipment is coming in, and this whole situation with the Serbs, right? So Tommy, of course, is getting all this information that he ain't really supposed to be having, and for some reason they don't think that Tommy heard any of it, and that's going to be important in a minute, okay? Now, they stitched Tommy up because, of course, like I said, he got shot, but it wasn't as bad as we thought it was. I really thought Tommy was hurt. And, of course, it's the sister that ends up patching Tommy up, and they do their flirting thing. Look, that is a disaster waiting to happen, and I don't even have nothing for you, Tommy, because the man done told you that woman is off limits. She done told you she don't want to have no parts of you. I don't know what else to tell you, Tommy, but you want to insist to go down that road, so you're going to get what's at the bottom of that hill, and it ain't going to be pretty. Now, we also meet Grandmama, who rolls up, and Tommy tries to play real, cutesy with her, and she gives Tommy the... who the hell are you look, right? She gives him the side eye like, who are you? Like, why are you here? What are we talking about? And she ends up talking to her grandson like, listen, I'm not understanding what's going on with the Serbs. Like, who did you piss off and why did you piss them off, right? What is the problem, okay? And Miguel is like, listen, Grandma, and she tells him, you got to let the boss know. Now, I'm thinking that they the boss. I'm thinking they the head of the food chain, at least in Chicago. Well, come to find out, they got a whole nother boss. And when Miguel goes to talk to him and lets him know that they want to respond, that they want to go for the Serbs, he was like, no, you can't. No, you won't. And if you go against my orders, I'm going to kidnap your sister and I'm going to take her down, and basically threaten to do a whole lot of really not so nice things to the sister and then kill her. So, of course, Miguel, was like, well, okay. But that's important, that this man told Miguel and his people do not respond to the Serbs. No response, no retribution. Remember, Tommy knows about the Connect when they're supposed to be meeting up with the Serbs to get their package and all that other stuff. While all of this is going on, Miguel is still threatening Jannard like, where's my payday? Money. Where's my payday? Don't forget, I need my money by tomorrow at noon. So it's a whole lot, as usual in any power show, it's a whole lot of juggling going on. Flynn goes to talk to Claudia, and he's convincing Claudia to come work for the family. And again, he really ain't convinced that Claudia can do it. But, of course, he needs Claudia just like he needs Vic, because he needs the money. He needs to make this money so he can make his payments and keep his protection. So Claudia ends up going to Vic because Daddy told her, you got to get, I need you to get Vic on board. I really need you to get Vic on board. Claudia goes to talk to Vic, and Claudia is punking the hell out of Vic, telling him he weak, telling him he ain't this and he ain't that. And I was like, where are your people skills? Did you think this was going to convince him to come and work for the family? And again, Vic already got a whole nother plan, so he going to work for the family, but certainly not because you convinced him to do it. But that's a whole nother conversation. So, down to the Popo place, they didn't identify Tommy. And the head of the investigation is, I'm assuming she works for like the FBI. I don't know who the DA's office. No, she's not. She's not with the DA's office. I believe she's the FBI. She's trying to get a task force. Now, here is where y'all have lost me power. You know, y'all, there's always a point where y'all be losing me. Here's where y'all lost me. Please explain to me. Please explain to me why y'all literally have the fingerprints of a man that the FBI thinks is dead, that caused all sorts of chaos and confusion, that is still, as far as we know, suspected of killing ghosts back in New York. I'm not understanding why the minute you put those fingerprints into the system, why everybody ain't on their way to Chicago looking for Tommy Egan. I'm confused why you have to beg for a task force to come after a man that is literally what they thought was dead, but before he was dead, he was wanted for multiple crimes. But neither here nor there, they giving us this whole storyline about how this woman had she has some sort of history with the Chicago Police Department, which is why they don't want to give her this task force. She ends up going to the DA, and the DA tells her, look, you know, if you can prove that this is the Tommy Egan, you can make the connection that he's, you know, running these drugs and he's connected to the cartel, then we might be able to help you. But you're going to have to make good with the police department first before we can do anything. So whatever beef she has is some local beef between her and Chicago PD. But that whole situation, again, it just don't make no sense to me. Y'all have the fingerprint of a dead man who's wanted for crimes. I don't understand what the problem is. But neither here nor there. Child, moving forward. So we see Jannard talking to his girl down to the boxing match. And she had been working out with the boys that let her know that they done lost respect for Jannard. They think he weak. They think that he's bowing down to his brother. And so she lets him know, look, you're losing your troops, right? Like, you're losing your troops. They don't believe in you. They don't have no faith in you. And, like, that's going to be a problem. Like, you really need to get it together. Which, of course, is just one more thing that he don't need to deal with. Tommy is talking to Diamond and lets Diamond know about the whole situation where he overheard that Miguel and his crew are going to be making a drop, where it's going to be and all of that. And so Tommy was like, oh yeah, they not going to see us coming. So they planning that whole heist. Child, Vic is just drunk in these Chicago streets. This whole story was stupid. He's messing with the chick in the back of the liquor store. They in the storeroom. Now, I thought the girl was setting him up. But, you know, she is a prostitute. The guy that owns the store, how dare he interrupt them in his storeroom while he's getting fellatio? It turns into a whole situation where Vic ends up robbing the guy, stealing the money. Next thing you know, he is swerving through the Chicago streets, drunk as hell, and he gets arrested for driving drunk and for the whole armed robbery situation. His father bails him out, and that pretty much seals his fate with getting back into the family business, because now his father is like, look, bro, I got you out of this situation. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do, okay? That pretty much sealed his fate. Now, while this is going on, Jannard's problems just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So, I believe it was the Serbs that he gave a part of his property to the projects. He gave it to them. But that's when Diamond and Tommy ran them off. And so they went to Jannard and was like, what's going on? Like, you told us that property was ours, and we done already beat you up, but we still don't have this territory. So until we get this territory, you're going to pay us, because you told us that territory was ours. So now, mind you, he still owed this money to Miguel. But he ended up having to give the money to the Serbs that he owed Miguel, and now he's short for Miguel. And Miguel done already told him what's going to happen if he come up short. Lucky for him, his girlfriend shows up and has just enough money to pay Miguel. So he good for this week. Now, I don't know what he gonna do about next week's payment, but this week's payment, old girl took care of him and had his back. So, you know, that worked out, okay? So Tommy and Diamond show up to the drop where the Serbs are waiting for Miguel and his crew to show up. They kill the Serbs, and they wait for the Miguel crew to show up. They end up killing them, and they set it up to make it look like the Serbs robbed Miguel's crew, and they take all the product. So when Miguel shows up looking for his people, because he was like, wait a minute, they never came back. They ain't bring back my money. What's going on? They show up. He find his people dead. He find his product gone, and ain't no sign of the Serbs except for the dead Serbs that they left there, right? So, of course, he thinks the Serbs did it. Now he feel like he got to get retribution, which is going to go directly against what his boss told him to do and what his boss threatened to do to his sister if he didn't listen. And now Tommy and Diamond are stuck with all this product that I have no idea what they're going to do with. Because people have got to know that it's going to be their product on the streets. But neither here nor there. I guess that's a problem for the next episode that I got to get caught up on. Okay, because y'all know I'm behind. Next thing you know, we see Tommy out on the street eating a burger or sandwich or whatever, minding his business like he ain't got a care in the world. And here come one of Jannard's boys who he told don't mess with Tommy, rolling up on Tommy. He does a whole drive-by shooting, and instead of taking care of Tommy, which don't understand how you missed him, he ended up killing a little girl. And y'all know what ends up happening with the press. Well, come to find out that the head of the FBI task force is dating, I don't know whether they're married, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, is dating the detective that's on the case. And, you know, of course, they're talking about the whole situation, problem she's having with getting him on board and asking him for help and all of that. And once again, they reiterating that she done pissed off the police and she gonna have to make good with that. He gets to the crime scene, realizes a little girl, and he sees all the, all the head people are there. And he calls her and says, look, you might be getting ready to get your task force because, nothing makes people want to look like they doing something more than, unfortunately, the death of a child. So that's where the episode ends. And I know I'm behind. I'm going to get caught up. But that is it. Talk to y'all later. Peace.